that, but Gary does know him well, and this is the horse who could carry the flag for a truly historic racing event, the first British winner of the Melbourne Cup.
Well, as Bruff pointed out, 5 times since the war, horses have gone on and completed the Stayers Triple Crown here, but 3 tried to do it and failed, having won at Ascot and Goodwood, but failed here. When nobody here believes that Double Trigger is going to be defeated, has been 9-4 on, 5-2 on, now 11-4 on, and in place it's 3 on. Generally 10 bar, a bit of a move for Admiral's Well very late into 9.
And this could be running a cloudburst. Pace in the race could come from Double Trigger and that eager beaver Jason Weaver. Under orders they race away, and Old Ravel a little bit slow to stride on the outside. The horse with the white face, that's on the left of the picture. That's Double Trigger, the 3's on favourite. But it's Admiral's Well that's taking him on as they come up past the enclosures with the blue jacket on the inside escarpment. Double Trigger out wide. Then settled back in 4 is Cufflink, followed by Old Ravel, and further flight, looking for his 21st win, is the back marker. The grey, as they come up past the enclosures, they're down to the Pert Hempson Ledger start at the end of the first quarter mile in this, the East Coast Doncaster Cup. And we're on the right lines because Double Trigger shows the way. Cufflink on the outside of Admiral's Well are 2nd and 3rd, and then Escarpment followed by Old Ravel, and the back marker is further flight. This is the Ledger start area they're going past now. And it's Double Trigger on the front end by length to Cufflink in 2nd, and then Admiral's Well, the rail, the inside, followed through in the dark blue or the royal blue colours escarpment. That's settled in 4, and then further flight the outside of Old Ravel. So Double Trigger, a winner of 7 races. Double Trigger leading from, in 2nd place, Cufflink, and then Admiral's Well in 3rd. They're the leading 3, bowling along well. Escarpment's back in 4, and the Old Grey further flight. He's been round Doncaster a few times on the outside of Old Ravel, the back marker. And as they go to the first quarter mile, at a glance, this pace on with Double Trigger is just appropriate.
Yes, he's not trying to wear his opponents down quite so ruthlessly as he did at Ascot. At least he's not yet.
No, he's going a good tip though, and certainly they've got a long way to go, plenty of time to make his stamina tell. 3 or 4, well, most of them travelling well in behind him, but you'd expect them to at this stage. But as they continue down the back, and certainly as they enter the straight, you'll see Jason Weaver just beginning to let a little bit of rain out, really begin to test them. And although 1 or 2 of the jockeys sitting still, I would imagine that they're all going as fast as they'd want to be at this stage. Just barely at cruising, I'd say, trying to stay with this horse, Double Trigger.
Got a really magnificent stride, the 11-4 on favourite, 10-1 bar. So is it Double Trigger to make all in the East Coast Doncaster Cup? They're about halfway. It's Double Trigger who leads, Cufflink on the outside, Paul Edery just pushing along. Admiral's Well and Richard Quinn going well in 3rd place, but Double Trigger has the edge to, in 2nd place, Cufflink, and then Admiral's Well on the inside, escarpment. That's Double Trigger, there goes Cufflink. Here comes Admiral's Well, the striped cap. Then the blue colours, that's escarpment, the Old Grey further flight, and the back marker is Old Ravel. They've got under 3/4 of a mile to go. Double Trigger just pricking his ears as they start the turn in. Double Trigger it is. Right, looking at those workmen in the orange jackets there. Double Trigger leading it. So they skip round the home turn, half a mile to go, and this is where he is going to be ruthless, we hope. Double Trigger, Cufflink, escarpment's going well. Look at further flight creeping up on the outside. Admiral's Well in behind them, and Old Ravel. They've got 3 furlongs to go. Double Trigger only by about half a length in Cufflink. On the look of the grey on the left, further flight coming there strongly. Escarpment seems to have gone, and Double Trigger finds reserves. So, oh, what a race this is. Big horse, the white face and rail, Double Trigger. The Old Faithful, further flights putting pressure on now. Admiral's Well's back in 3rd. Then we have Cufflink and Old Ravel. They've got just over 300 yards to go. And Double Trigger has found another gear. Further flight, the old boy can't live with this. And it's Double Trigger going clear. 4, 5, 6 clear. And Double Trigger annihilates them. Oh, a breathtaking performance. Double Trigger it is, storming up towards the line. Makes all Double Trigger. Jason Weaver looks round. Double Trigger the winner, further flight 2nd, Old Ravel 3rd. Admiral's Well in 4, a big break to Cufflink, and then came Escarpment, and they'll probably get back into the jockey's changing room before it really does start to bucket from the heavens, but Double Trigger, worth getting wet to watch this one. Double Trigger in the colours of Mr. R.W. Higgins, the 11-4 on favourite of this, the East Coast Doncaster Cup. Over 2¼ miles, and as they went past the winning line, from then on in he was never headed. Just, I thought, had a moment's hesitation with just over 3 to go. At least I did. He didn't. He came home. Double Trigger wins his 8th race. Second horse home is Further Flight, and the third horse home is Old Rouvel. Grand staying horse. Melbourne, next stop. Trains don't run there, though.
Side is a half-brother called Farrat, who was third in the Cesarewitch, so there is plenty of speed, but El Amanamur, after all, did win the Eclipse Stakes, and so that's where the speed comes from too.
Pull away very smartly, and up there on the outside Green Tune, and just in behind them in the early stages Shanxi. Then in the dark blue colours crossing over now is Dane to be right up there, and just behind them is Mist Flight as they go around the first corner. 3 or 4 lengths to Sayadati, who's second last, and last of all is Miss Satamixer. On settling down, Smolenska's joined now by Dane on the outside, really serving up the pace here. They're 2 lengths to Ridgewood Pearl, settling third in the box seat on the inside of Green Tune. 1 length further back in the field, Miss Flight on the outside of Shanxi. And they're clear then of Miss Satamixer, who's right out the back in company there with Sayadati. Running down towards the next turn, and the leader on the outside fractionally is Dane by about a neck to Smolensk in the hoop jack at the inside. 1 length away then is Ridgewood Pearl, tucked away on the inside of Green Tune. Further back then Shanxi, followed on the outside by Mist Flight from Sayadati, and Miss Satamixer whips them in as they run down now towards the turn. The leader on the inside is Smolensk by half a length as they straighten up for the judge now, joined now by Dane on the outside. They're a length and a half to Green Tune is being ridden along. Ridgewood Pearl needing a run, followed then by Shanxi, and further back is Sayadati, and Miss Satamixer eased to the outside. Smolenska's gone for home, opens up a gap of a length and a half. Ridgewood Pearl now out after her, followed then by Mist Flight, Green Tune, Sayadati down the outside from Shanxi going for a run, but the Irish filly Ridgewood Pearl takes it up now. Shanxi out after her, followed by Mist Flight and Sayadati down the outside, but Ridgewood Pearl is too good. Wins the Moulin in good style from Shanxi. In third placing Mist Flight from Sayadati.
Bad, but I can't remember what he looked like at York. He certainly looks superb now. And as has been said, his form has been near misses, all near misses this season, except for one disappointing run in the middle. He'd been very close to Valanora in the Grand Prix de Paris, to Halling in the Eclipse, and as you saw, beaten inches by Pentire in the Great Voltigeur.
Ran almost to the inch. Oh, Jimmy Scott just having to keep out of the way, just a little bit frightened by the paddock sheet just falling down above his hocks. Ran almost to the inch with Pentire, and he's running in the Thresher Classic trial at Sandown. And he's only run once on a soft surface. That was when he won, but it's got to be said, it was an egg and spoon race at Chester. Stablemate Classic, he was about 6 lengths behind him. But in fact, it's very difficult to give a case for either of the others. None of them got any real form on a softer surface, so pretty much the same for all.
And in the striped jacket still has a call, but Singspiel ranging alongside. And Jumeirah's son isn't out of it, you know, the outsider of the party, as they come down towards the 2 furlong marker, and Singspiel just quickening the game. Tenorio's going with him and trying to get a gap between the pair. In the yellow is Jumeirah's son. Gets that run. Patherby just had to check momentarily. Horse's head carriage doesn't help, does carry his head high, but Singspiel pressed by Jumeirah's son, and Singspiel, the classy performer, has a length now to spare over Jumeirah's son in second, going 2 or 3 clear up towards the line, and deservedly Singspiel is going to take a race here, and Singspiel gets the shout. Singspiel is the winner. Jumeirah's son second, and Tenorio is third. And so from a muddling pace, fast and slow, that professional backer has landed the odds. Singspiel has won in the colours of Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Michael Stout and ridden by Mick Kinane. This one homebred, and in the wings came there.
Half-brother Nashwan. Dick in very good form. I saw him out on the track earlier, testing the ground in his wheelchair with his assistant. But 3 runners only. But as we know, and Celtic Swing was just the latest reminder, promise is one thing, fulfillment is another, and horses like Take a Left, I mean, for he's top-rated on time speed, until Al Hareth does it, he's not a certainty he may look at the moment. Here's the 3.
He is, however, unbeaten, the 3-to-1 on favourite Willie Carson, but a strong opposition today. Rio de Vido, 6-to-1 chance with Pat Edery, and Take a Left, 5-to-1, Kieran Fallon. The lineup for this, the Group 2 Laurent Perrier Champagne Stakes. It's over 7 furlongs.
Willie Carson, who's been very bullish form this week, in tremendous form this season, and has got these horses to look forward to next year and to ever postpone his retirement. Long may he go. Stay with us for the break.
Might be caused by the fact that, as John pointed out to me, I must admit I hadn't noticed, Al Hareth is, and it's the first time I've ever seen it, he is sweating between his hind legs, John.
Yeah, it's not normally a good sign. The one thing that this horse certainly will appreciate, and I remember thinking it to myself when he ran at Sandown last time, was the fact that he's going to appreciate a cut in the ground, which you're not, well, I'm not convinced that the other 2 runners here are going to. Really grabs the ground, this horse, and is fairly certain that he didn't beat anything of great substance. Staffin, for instance, the horse who runs on to be second here, was beaten a long way in yesterday's May Hill Stakes, but you couldn't have asked the horse to do more than this. Covers a great amount of ground, considering he's not a particularly tall horse, really uses his shoulders, and that was 3, well, his 3rd win on the trot. The 2nd win, which came at Goodwood, was very impressive indeed. News from you, Mac.
Well, there's very strong support.
Different headgear today for Al Hareth on the right, with the hoop sleeves, Rio de Vida, and back third of 3 is Take a Left, and Kieran Fallon taking a tug on that one. So it's Al Hareth who's setting the work here and going to stretch them to the line. Rio de Vida in 2nd place, and Take a Left in 3rd. And Willie Carson, interestingly, keeping a little bit away from the rail, coming from the stall 1. Giving that lead then to Rio de Vida, and in Indian file they come with Take a Left in 3rd place. Just for finishing in this race, of which they're going a steady 35 miles an hour, Take a Left will pick up some £6,500 in prize money. Not bad for just turning up. Rio de Vida, though, has got a turn of foot, and we know Take a Left has got a turn of foot, but he's tucked away 3rd of 3, behind Al Hareth, the leader. Rio de Vida in 2nd, and Take a Left in 3rd. Halfway then in the Champagne Stakes, and it's Al Hareth leading, coming past the 3 now. Tempo increasing steadily. Rio de Vida, Take a Left is a little bit flat-footed in 3rd there. Come down towards the quarter-mile mark, and it's Al Hareth the rail. This Rio de Vida, Pat Edery's making ground on the outside. Take a Left is 3rd of 3. Going to be a sprint finish now. They've got a furlong and a half to go. A 300-yard race this. Al Hareth, Rio de Vida is digging deep. Take a Left is 3rd of 3. Come down to the final furlong marker now. And Al Hareth, but Rio de Vida is making him stretch. Al Hareth just from Rio de Vida, who's putting in a big finish. Al Hareth and Rio de Vida, it's going to be very close. Al Hareth takes it. Al Hareth makes all. Rio de Vida is 2nd. Take a Left 3rd of 3, and quite a remote 3rd of 3 at that. And so the result then of this, the Laurent Perrier Champagne Stakes, a 1-2-3 for 1-2-3, and eventually 5-2 on.
It's now Willie Carson, and as so often, your testimony is essential here. How easy was it?
It wasn't. It's the shortest race he's ever run in. He's always had a lead before, and in front I just let him go his own pace, and obviously it wasn't quick enough. It's the first time he hasn't even worked in front at home before, so it's a bit of a performance really. You know, he shows that he can sprint on soft ground. He handled the ground well.
Well, looking at it here, we've got some time to go here, so nothing's going to help you in a sense of making it.
No, I just sat there and let him do what he wanted to do, and he's got his ears pricked, and maybe I should have changed his legs there. He's looking at everything. I didn't go towards the rail because he was seeing all those fellas in the orange jackets and whatever, so he was going to duck from them. I was going to wait to get to the rail until I was going a bit quicker. I've gone over to the rail now, and I'm going to let the horse increase. So he told me that the horse was behind me because he quickened up himself.
Yes. And how early did you want to commit him?
Well, I didn't really. I didn't want to give this horse a hard race, you know. I wanted him just to do everything he wanted to do, really. And that's what we ended up doing. But in the finish, it was a little bit closer than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's going to be 24 seconds of this now. Only 2 furlongs to go.
Yeah, I presume the last 2 furlongs would be running, what, 22, you said?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty quick. And then he starts looking, he says, oh, I've got him beat, and he starts looking at the crowd, and he hangs away from the rail.
And that hanging was just from the noise, you think, nothing about him.
See, look, I can pick my stick up. Come on, he's hanging away from the people and what have you. Too much to look at.
But as you know better than anybody, I mean, he hasn't won by very far, and very often the form book is what counts. I mean, you're not a sentimentalist. How good a performance was that?
All right.
It was all right.
It was all right. Nothing wrong with it. All these fellas might want to crib him, but he was all right. He did for a 1.5 mile horse. He's showed a good bit of speed. I'm very pleased with him, especially on the ground. You know, it's soft ground, and he moved well on it.
And Dick was telling me that he's actually put weight on since he's put 20 pounds on since he first started racing. So, assuming the horse is not actually taking much out of himself at home.
I think he's fatter today than he was when he first ran at Newmarket. He's heavier, fatter.
So he's the proper job.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. And I'm always a bit inclined to say that, but put them knackers on him. But he's a very nice horse. He's definitely developing at the moment.
And
I hope he doesn't get too thick, because he's getting very thick.
And where do we go to? Dewhurst?
I don't know. It's up to the boss. He maps these things out. He's good enough to run in any race he picks.
Well, let's pick a race tomorrow. Istidad for the Ledger. How about that? You won the Ledger, what, 4 times?
Have I?
Well, I think it's 4 times, yeah.
Well, 5 would be better, wouldn't it?
What are you...
Final furlong and Definite Article comes there on the stand side with Honest Mirabilis. Oscar Schindler is next, and they're followed by Winglob and Classic Cliche. Definite Article, the leader from Honest Mirabilis, and Oscar Schindler. Winglob's flying on the inside as they race up towards the line. They're going to be very close, and Winglob is up. Winglob is up from Definite Article.
Number 5, Young Buster, Paul Edery. And completing the field, the Derby 4th. Number 6, Fahal, Richard Hills. All 6 to go here. And Trey Arias, who won well at York in his first start for more than a year, is the favourite, betting as follows.
Yes, he's a firm favourite at 7-4. Then it's 2-1 from 9-4 for Hull. 7-1, easy to back, Richard of York and Al Rifa. 8-1, Young Buster. 20-1, Wayne County. So a 2-horse market and perhaps a 2-horse race. And you can make out a pretty good case for both of them. I'm not sure the right horse is favourite. Runners on their way to post, and the centre of those 3 is the favourite, Triarius, another blockbuster from the Godolphin team. He was trained in France by André Fabre, and he made his first English appearance at York 10 days ago. He absolutely slooshed up from Sonic Boy, but it might have been a bit of a soft race. As you can see, he's a chestnut with 3 white feet, a little bit volatile, throwing his head about. Be interesting to see how he copes with this upgrade today.
Quite a good-looking colt, quite a flashy horse. As you can see, he's got 3 big white stockings, but there's no doubt about it, he's a very good racehorse, Julian, because last season, in fact, he ran Hernando to a very, very good race at Deauville. That was last August, and Hernando, they think, is probably going to win the Guinness Champion Stakes today, and that puts him in really as about the 5th or 6th best colt in Europe. I wonder if he's going to live up to it today.
But he's certainly a very consistent colt. Following down number 4, Wayne County.
Got a nice loose way of going, Julian. As you can see there, he covers the ground. And well, there you can see Gary Carter is able to give him a nice long rein. He pokes his nose out nicely. I would think he's a really lovely ride, this colt.
Right, here's his market rival, the horse who finished 4th in the Derby. In fact, for a moment he looked like winning below the distance, but he didn't, and he showed quite conclusively that a mile and a quarter is his trip when he went to Haydock last month and won very nicely there. Now, the thing about this race, it was... Yes.
Last one going forward. They're set and ready. Stand by.
Ready.
That's it. Away they go. Good even break too on the far side. Richard of York, one of the first away, but soon headed by Al Riffa. And here's Wayne County nearest the camera, who heads the wall off quite effortlessly as they settle down. He leads by a length and a half to Al Riffa in second placing. 2 lengths away then is Fahal in the blue jacket just behind them. Further back in the field then the near side, another blue jacket of Triarius. And further back in the field then is Richard of York as they're climbing uphill now. In fact, the first 5 furlongs in this 10 furlong race are all uphill. The leader here is Wayne County, 2 lengths to El Riffa, then Fahal on the inside of Triarius from Richard of York, and 2 lengths away then the 7-year-old Young Buster. Continuing their climb uphill now, and still the leader here is Wayne County by a length to El Riffa the outside. 3 parts Triarius with a white face on the right of picture as they climb right up to the top of the hill now. Fahal in behind them with the striped cap, followed further back then by Richard of York and Young Buster, who's smothered up on the inside. They reach the highest point of the course now, about to charge downhill, and the leader here is Wayne County by a length and a half to El Riffa, the orange jacket the outside. Fahal in behind them on the inside of Triarius, who's travelling kindly, followed by Richard of York, and then tucked away Young Buster, and 6 lengths covers the field as they charge down now towards the entrance to the home straight. Half a mile left to go. Wayne County out in front, the outsider by a length and a half to El Riffa. Tucked in behind them, Fahal still to make a move, followed by Triarius keeping him there. Then Richard of York, who's tracking Triarius, and further back then is Young Buster running up with 2.5 to go. Wayne County kicks for home from El Riffa. Here's Triarius going easily on the outside. Fahal can't get a run. Richard of York off down the outside, and Young Buster sticking to the inner inside the 2 furlong marker. And now he says go on. Triarius ranges up, grabs the lead in a twinkling of an eye, goes a length and a half in front now of Wayne County the far side. Fahal getting into the clear now from Richard of York inside the final furlong. Triarius 2 in front. Fahal hasn't really picked up from Wayne County and Richard of York, and Triarius striding away to win this in good style. Triarius goes on to score by 2 lengths. Second Fahal, ahead away third then Wayne County, followed by Richard of York, then El Riffa, and last to finish is Young Buster. Another win for Godolphin, number 3, Triarius, owned by the Godolphin Racing Group, trained by Saeed bin Sarua and ridden by Gary Carter. Second is number 6, Fahal, and the judge has given it outright, even though it was close, owned by Sheikh Hampton Al Maktoum, trained by David Morley and ridden by Richard Hills. And third, number 4, Wayne County, owned by Mrs. A. Norton, trained by Reg Akhurst and ridden by Richard Quinn. Fourth, number 2, Richard of York, ridden by Gary Hine. But Triarius was always travelling kindly for Gary Carter in behind them on the outside. He sat poised throughout. He had his principal danger, Fahal, on his inside. He kept him there as long as he possibly could, kicked for home, and that was it.
Yes, that was it, and that was very impressive. Wide margin success, although once again the margin was closing at the line, closing down